Salutations, nerds! We're talking about the MCU and all its glory.
Welcome back, everyone, to what we are calling this series Phased Out. I'm so tired. It's a series designed to make Nick hate us, although I think with the topic we're talking about today, he might not. We might all be in agreement about this, although it might be Jared's favorite movie.
I would say it's my favorite movie, so I don't know what you guys think of this. Like, you guys love it that much, too? I'm happy.
Oh, okay.
Best MCU movie.
We're talking about Ant-Man and the Dead Fish. I mean the Wasp.
I think that pauses for laughter, but there is none.
I think that's just all there is to say about the movie.
I will be upfront with everyone. I don't like Evangeline Lilly at all.
Yeah, I don't.
As you've said,
I don't think I've ever seen her in anything where I've really liked her. But then again, this
Lost, maybe.
Never watched it.
I don't like her in Lost though. Even
that's the whole root.
She's in Lord of the Rings, right?
No,
she's
in the Hobbit.
She's in the Hobbit.
There's a difference.
Which is the ones I haven't watched. Got it.
She's in the weird humping scene.
There's a weird humping scene in the Hobbit.
It's not really that. It's not as bad as I remember.
It's a healing scene, but like she's got her hands together and pressing.
They don't show her
but
hands.
like, and then the camera is like positioned low and looking up, so like, because it's supposed to be they're looking at her like angelically, and like the lights get bright, and but she's like pushing down like that. I was like, it's one of them, and it's like this is weird.
Interesting.
I remember feeling
I should watch those movies.
I remember feeling very, very violated in the theater. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's the story of what Scott Lang did between Civil War and Infinity War.
I was going to say, technically, it's probably the most important Marvel movie in regards to the story they're trying to tell. Because it's the bridge to Endgame.
No, just that mid-credit scene. And that's the only thing anyone wanted. Because I remember being excited for it. Because it's like, I just want to know how this is going to tie into Endgame. Because the Endgame hype, we've all said and experienced, was so big. And you get through that whole movie of this fun little San Francisco romp. Just to get to that one scene.
I will say that these poor movies did have an unfortunate placement.
The first one being after Ultron, and then this one being between the
Ultron,
two biggest
Infinity.
ones.
No, okay, you're talking.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the two, this and Captain Marvel. The
gotcha.
two that actually come between Infinity War.
See, if anything, I think that's why they did so well financially, is because they were in there.
Yeah. I don't remember what this one made. I remember Captain Marvel's in the Billion Club.
Yep.
So
is it really?
It is, yeah. It did phenomenal. As much hate as it got, it did phenomenal at the box office.
We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
I don't understand the hate for that movie, but
I understand it. I don't agree with it.
So at this point in the world, 2018, Infinity War made everyone's jaws drop at the end, as we talked about. And now it's like, okay, we have a year before we know what happens. But we have 2 movies in between. So the reason we go is, how does this tie in? This one, nothing ties in until that mid-scene, because it's just a kind of fun little, hey, remember, we can have fun while we're
But that mid-scene turns out to be the catalyst of the Endgame.
Oh, yeah. That
what kind of kicks everything off.
Yep.
I think it is better for not being tied in, except for that part, personally.
Oh, yeah.
I also think it's better than the first one.
It's my favorite Ant-Man movie. Not saying much.
Yeah, well.
But it's my favorite Ant-Man movie.
It is not without its fault. I think there's just way too much going on. Like, there is just, 8 antagonists in the thing? It's just too much.
They're all fun in their own special way.
But they each could be their own movie.
Yeah, could they though? Or would they just be
week
one no villains?
What's the name of the guy?
The name of the guy.
The businessman.
Goggins?
Walton Goggins?
Yeah, Walton Goggins. He could be his own movie.
Walton Goggins could probably carry an entire movie with him being the only person in the cast. So you're probably right there.
See, they got to let him have fun and go full Goggins. They got to put the Goggins on.
Oh, Fallout. Him in Fallout is
That's
the
what I
most
hear.
Goggins I've ever seen him. He just goes full ham, and it is so good. And this is just a fraction of that performance.
Yeah, like the closest you get is his first scene in his restaurant, where he's starting to get excited when Ghost shows up and there's all this fight. He's like, what is going on? And I was like, Let him
Yeah.
cook. Let him go.
I wanted him to be what Justin Hammer was.
I
Yeah,
think that's what I've heard, that he is discount Justin Hammer.
Yeah,
in
very
this.
much so. Like, it's very similar character, just so much more low energy. But
I really wish.
Sam Rockwell did just put everything into that one shot he got for that performance.
I really wish we'd get another movie with Justin Hammer.
I'm hoping Armor Wars. That's where it would make sense to put him.
It is true. Then they'd have to explain how he got out of jail, because didn't he go to jail at the end of Iron Man 2?
How long ago was Iron Man 2?
So
He could have just
I
been
was
getting
gonna
out.
say, I don't really
At this point,
understand-
he might. And we also have a time jump in the MCU where we're 5 years ahead of where we're at in our real world.
and did he get blipped? We don't know.
I would love to hear him just talk about the blip. I would just love little short recaps of him to maybe talking to somebody in his jail cell and just put those out for Disney Plus shorts.
He could have gotten out of jail during
they
the
kinda
blip,
did that with
during
Coles.
the chaos. He could have easily gotten out because everything's going nuts. Prisoners, guards alike disappearing. He could have gotten out then and just been hiding.
That's the other thing I was thinking during that mid-credit scene, not to jump through the movie, but
We're going to be jumping through
during
this
that
movie.
mid-credit scene, I was like thinking about it, and I'm sure this is not an original thought. It was like, so this is supposed to be at random half of the world's population, and yet in every scene that we see, it's not half of the world's population. It's in fact most of the people we see on the screen. That doesn't really work.
Well, I mean, you just have to assume that other places you're getting a group of 10 and 2 are disappearing. It's random. It wouldn't be perfectly even split based on who you're standing next to.
I suppose, but then like,
That proves that it is random, Jake.
are there some parts of the world that just don't have any disappearing people then?
Maybe.
Because
there
like,
might be whole towns that like maybe they lose one person, and then other towns where only one person's left.
Like San Marino.
so like there are towns where they just don't know what happened.
Yeah. They're like, what happened to John? Like, has anybody seen him in the last couple of days?
I could just hear it. Back
Why
when
is
I
there
went,
a pile of dirt right there?
Oh, to imagine like a plane and the only person that blips is the pilot.
I mean, that kind of happened with the helicopter at the end.
That's
of
true. I
Infinity
really hope
War.
everybody in that helicopter blipped out.
Dude, so many. I mean, if you've ever looked at a map of air traffic over the United States, just can you imagine that on a global scale and just gone?
which is why that hospital scene in WandaVision is possibly the best scene of any of those TV shows.
It is the only thing in the MCU that I thought has well handled the
fallout
the
of it.
event of the snap.
Because all of a sudden everyone's just showing back up and there's new people in places and they're like, what is going on? Because we didn't think about it. It's like, okay, he brought everyone back. What are the consequences? It wasn't like 5 minutes, it was 5 years.
I don't know. I think Spider-Man had quite a few good blip-related stuff.
Because now these kids, they were like little kids before, and now they're in the same grade, and then half their grade is...
That, and you got a couple stories of like people's outcomes of the blip where he's talking about like, yeah, my wife pretended to be blipped and
right.
moved in with someone else or whatever it was.
What was that from?
Spider-Man. Far From Home?
Yeah.
Yeah, Far From Home.
Yeah, there's also the...
It's when they're on the plane
Oh
going,
yeah. That's we need more stuff.
Or
like
even
that.
like the opening scene where you get the news report in the school, where you see all of them come back in the middle of the basketball game. The marching band pops back up in front of
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of too late for them to go back and do that.
I know, and they mention it here and there, but they should have leaned a lot harder into it right away.
You know what I would have loved? A series of sorts that discussed that. Like every episode, kind of like What If, except every episode is a different character and what happened to them and how they handled the blip and what family members of theirs disappeared and how that impacted their lives.
I'm surprised they didn't do anything like that. Where like you can even have low-level Avengers or superheroes assisting people who have issues going on post-blip due to the blip.
It's such an interesting concept that they did nothing like in it, that they did nothing with, and that's not very un-Marvel.
COVID also affected it real bad.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because they had a whole year without anything, which they hadn't had since, 2009?
I think so, yeah.
It was like 10 years of straight stuff coming out, and then they had all of 2020 off. So it's kind of what did it. They had all this stuff backed
you would
up.
think they'd have a little extra time to
I mean, can you
think these things out.
Can you really blame that? Because it wasn't just them that had it. It was just everyone.
Yeah, but a lot of people did struggle, like content creation wise. Like Warner Brothers, across the board, their content was just pretty bad.
We could do a whole series on Warner Brothers over the last 4 years.
And honestly, the rise of Paramount over the last 4 years. Like, they've hit a lot of successes I didn't realize they were going to be hitting.
Are they under Viacom?
Yeah, I think so.
I will say that Paramount Plus is quickly becoming one of my favorite.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
They have a great mix of classic movies, but also movies that don't really get onto the other streaming services.
That, and they lean pretty hard into their Nickelodeon catalog, so you get a lot of kid-friendly stuff that's really high quality.
Yeah, you don't get kid-friendly stuff like that from Max or anything.
Yeah, and a lot of the kid-friendly stuff on Netflix is pretty bad, and some of it's just not great to show your kids.
You just said a lot of the stuff on Netflix is.
That's true. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah,
movie we haven't really talked about.
So it's Scott under house arrest. It's a nice ticking time bomb of I have this much time left, but I got to get back before they ever catch me. That's a good setup. But then you got the businessman angle with Walton Goggins that isn't developed. It's just I want Thing because Thing important. So it's that would have been nice to have that more developed. Or Ghost is an interesting villain. She just wants to stay alive, which is the funniest things. I think it was an old acquaintance of ours said, literally the villain is just, they're trying to keep someone from staying alive, which could be interesting. So I always thought of, wouldn't an interesting, different story be, they are trying to help her, but then they realize the twist ends up being, oh, this is going to kill Janet. And then that's where the conflict stems from. But they didn't do that.
You mean she still wants them to do it, but they don't want to do it because it's going to kill her?
They run into her. She asks for help because I think people even on the Letterboxd said it's the villains could have just asked for help.
Yeah, they have background together. They know each other.
Yeah, it's two brilliant people too, and all this technology and the fun. It's they could have figured this out.
We had a falling out. It's yeah, but if it's for someone you love's life, you would breach that and reach out and yeah. I agree with you.
What were you saying?
I think it's not. I think they tried to make it not acceptable to just do that because she became an assassin for S.H.I.E.L.D. So the problem becomes they won't help me because they're going to turn me in because I've killed so many people and done so many bad things because at that point wasn't S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra?
Probably. I would say yes.
But again,
it's post.
I mean, it was technically Hydra until S.H.I.E.L.D. fell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just when I was sitting there I feel like there's a good conflict in there, but because their whole thing is we can't let her get the thing because she'll kill Janet. I'm this would have been so much more interesting if you were helping her realize this is going to kill her, and she's pushing her because I want to stay alive, and you're no, you can't. We can't let you do that. I
will say one thing: the way that they do her ghosting effect, I love that.
Yeah, I do love. Cool. I love the phasing look. It looks really cool. I also love. Watching her fight. Watching her fight with the phasing is such a good use of it.
Yeah. They don't do it that much. There's only 2 scenes that she actually fights them. There's the restaurant scene, which it's a minute-long fight, and then the end. That's it. They don't interact with her that much.
Nope.
Just because there's too many villains.
Yeah.
Not only that, but also this one also has our supporting characters from the last movie in it still.
And Jimmy Woo and his goons.
Woo. Which I love all the Jimmy Woo stuff.
I love
Randall
Jimmy.
Park is phenomenal in everything he does, but this is maybe my favorite character of his. Because he's not dumb, but he's
just a goofy little guy.
Goofy.
That was something where it's that's fine. That part of the story is fine. It's they can't catch me out of here, and when he has to get back a couple times,
it makes sense to be there because he's on house arrest. I guess it doesn't feel like an additional character just to have a character there.
Is he in WandaVision?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's at the town.
What was the first movie that he was in? Was this the first movie?
I think it's this one.
Yep.
Okay.
Has he been in another movie since then?
I feel like I've seen him again.
Was he wasn't in Quantumania?
I don't believe he was in Was he in the end of Quantumania?
Maybe.
It says he's in Quantumania here. I don't know what capacity.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the only Marvel
I don't
properties.
recall him in there. I mean, it would have had to been the very beginning or the very end because the rest was in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
Also, I really love the way they do the quantum realm in these first two movies. They're very different, but I didn't realize before that Scott, the first time he fell through, didn't, I'm going to say, pierce the veil. Mm-hmm. And then Pym did in this one. So, but then for some reason, when the third one happens, it all goes to bleh.
Goes to CGI.
Oh no! I mean, it's all CG.
Paint on walls instead of detailed, cool-looking things.
I mean, it's all that way now. But it's like instead of 10 or 15 minutes, it's a 2.5-hour movie.
I also just don't like the look of the quantum realm.
I don't remember. I've only seen Quantumania once because I didn't like it that much in theaters. I don't remember really what it looks like.
It just looks so ugly to me. Whereas these ones, it never really flags me as being ugly. It's more interesting than anything.
I also just genuinely think that Ant-Man should have been Edgar Wright's franchise. I think it's perfect style or a perfect type of franchise for him and for his style.
Was it Peyton Reed that did the first one? Did he do the
Both.
second one as
he
well?
He did all three.
Oh, I forgot he did that. I didn't think he did the third one.
I think he did all three. Pretty sure.
He makes movies.
Yes, he does. Yes, man, he does, I should say.
Oh, gosh.
I like that movie. It's not good.
No.
But I like that movie.
I mean, it's just Liar, Liar.
Yeah.
But not as good in Liar, Liar. We talked about it here. We don't even think that much of.
I was going to say, are you sure?
But I also haven't seen it in probably 20 years.
Man, he made Bring It On.
Oh, I love that movie. That's like legit a really good movie.
And I don't know if this is a documentary, The Fifth Beatle.
Oh, is that about the guy who toured Australia with them, or
maybe it's Brian Epstein?
Graphic, not
film. Or what's the drummer pre?
No, it's Brian Epstein. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, their manager for the first.
What'd you
couple
say?
Years. Brian Epstein.
Yep. There's a lot of Fifth Beatles out there.
It is a film adaptation of a graphic novel. That sounds interesting.
Okay, so it's not out.
Oh, that's an upcoming thing.
Yeah.
Is it not out?
I wonder if that's attached to the.
Yeah, it's not out. I don't think.
4 Beatles documentaries they're doing. Not documentaries. I think they're biopics.
Peyton Reed.
Who wrote Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Like 5 people, I think.
That makes sense.
One for each villain.
Some of these movies do feel very by committee, and this is definitely one of them.
I think Paul Rudd is a credited writer on this too. Yep. There's 5 writers, one of them being Paul Rudd.
Okay.
Which I think he was also a producer.
I wonder how much he actually contributed to the writing. Oh, I know all the stuff with a lot of the stuff with Randall Park is completely ad-libbed. So I wonder if he gets writing credits for some of that stuff.
Yeah. He wasn't a producer. I thought he was. Yeah, and the humor in this that's fine.
Yeah, I think the stuff with Minnie Scott is probably the best in the movie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely the funniest.
I remember the first time I watched it, I absolutely hated the Hot Wheels thing. I don't know why I thought it was so stupid.
The little wheel.
Yeah.
Well, we
I
mentioned
thought it was just so dumb.
We mentioned in the first Ant-Man episode where like they say that the tank thing. I think was it you?
Yeah.
They said like it has the same mass.
Yep.
Even though it's smaller, so it's like that wheel of cars would be so heavy.
Mm-hmm. Or the whole building they're wheeling around the whole time.
Yes. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's like if you turn your brain off, which is what I always told people who complained about this. I was like, it's a comic book movie. Like, yeah, they explain their science and then break that explanation immediately, but it's also dumb comic book fun.
Yeah, I think the cars thing is fine.
Yeah.
The chase at the end is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a fun time. The shrinking and
I also like other
For
stuff.
some reason, I always think
in the water in San Francisco. I think that was like Giant Man's always good to see.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always think that the Giant Man is in like the middle of the movie,
Instead of the very end.
Like this, yeah, like the second act chase that usually happens, and then it's the end. And I was like, oh, wow, I really don't remember this movie, do I? I genuinely watched it for the mid-credit scene, didn't I?
It has a very long third act though, because I thought I looked at the timeline when like it starts because all those moving pieces are coming together, and there's so many characters. It's like, because I think they start rescuing Janet with like 40 minutes left, and she's like fully rescued with like 5 or 10 left. It's like, it's stretched out, and I've noticed this in other Marvel movies too, where it's like first act is the normal length, and they just shrink that second act to get to the super long third act where
That's
lot
how you
happens.
get terrible villains. Like, you focus on the hero in the first act, you don't focus on the villain at all until the third act, and then there's nothing there to focus on except for a fight.
It makes it feel like not a lot happened in the movie because all the immediate stuff is in this section that's supposed to be like the climax, but it's so stretched out.
I think Love and Thunder is probably the worst proponent of that, because a lot of those scenes are so drawn out, and then you get to the end and it's fights, eternity, Jane. It's like it's so much within the last like 20 minutes, whereas the rest of the movie was just dumb goat jokes and love triangles with hammers and axes. I feel like I complain about that movie so much. And
You do.
Man,
And
just
we
about every
haven't
week.
even gotten to it. Anytime a bad thing comes up, it's like, yeah, Love and Thunder did it worse.
On that note, it's time for everybody's favorite segment. Jared, have we watched Dutch yet?
No.
We know you have it.
Oh, of course.
Have you watched it?
No.
Any plans?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about this movie, and I feel like there's still nothing else to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Lawrence
we-
Fishburne's in this movie.
He is.
He doesn't have sunglasses though, so I don't know if it's really.
No, but I
Lawrence
feel
Fishburne.
like they're there. Like he's putting out the energy that they're there because he's played the same character since Matrix.
I don't know. I don't
He's
feel like
everyone's
Morpheus
dad.
would have got cornered by giant ants.
I do love the giant ants, and every time we see him, even in Quantumania when we see the giant quantum ants.
You can't just put quantum in front of everything.
Yeah, you can.
I do love Antonio Banderas. What was the other one?
From the last
Ulysses S.
movie?
Grant.
Yeah, I
Gur
think so,
ant.
yeah.
Gur
Grant.
ant. Gur ant. He like
Is he?
stops.
Is he one of the ones that gets eaten by the seagulls?
I think so, or somewhere in there. Like he doesn't last long.
I still miss Anthony.
Hey, no, Anthony.
R.I.P.
He got hit by a bullet. That's so funny. The bullet's bigger than him.
Just obliterated him.
Yeah, I think that's another thinking of that first. Like the first one, as we said, is just Diet Iron Man, and this one is just a more looser, just little fun adventure type. And I think that's also why I like it better
It
than the
just
first
also
one.
feels like such a filler movie, and they put it in the most fillery spot in the
Yes,
MCU.
they did. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
the MCU's One Piece.
I don't even know what that means, but I agree with it.
It has more filler than it does.
Actual
Actual
content and
Oh,
story.
yeah. Where were the guys in the third one? Because I don't think
They weren't.
they weren't in it at all.
And,
And
they
they're
so much levity in their scenes. It's so nice.
Yeah, the
Are you
undercarriage
talking about in the third
conversation
one
did
they
make
weren't in
me
it all?
laugh.
What was that?
Are you talking about in the third one they weren't in it? Okay.
I was laughing at the undercarriage scene, and then Walton Goggins again walks in and explains like how in California it's kind of useless to get an undercarriage clean because that's a thing for like dirt roads in the
Yeah.
Midwest, and I was like, that's funny. And I think they make a comment when they're driving under a car about it. I go,
Yep.
see, that's fine. You I know you had already brought up the small Scott stuff.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it last time. Michael Douglas, as he's like hopping into the van saying, "Hey champ, how was school?"
Yeah.
And then he says, "Would you like a juice box and some string cheese?" You have that?
See, that's the thing. Like, yeah, he used that as an insult, but if somebody offers me a juice box and string cheese,
If it's
that's
free.
one of the best snacks possible.
Just this little. What I do like the scene where it's,
Sun and a
hey, do you,
string cheese.
the teacher like saying, "Hey, where are you supposed to be?" And he just
He just
runs like
looks
a
at-
little
I
kid.
love the giant sweater on him just
Yeah.
walking around.
Yeah, that little closet moment where she's roasting him and has to fix the whatever regulator. I was like, this is fine. Thought there'd be more in the school, but it's literally like a minute. But whatever. It's a fun little moment. I was telling Jake off camera before, I do like the whole, he told Hank, I destroyed the suit after Jeremy's like, how could you destroy my suit?
Yeah.
That's my life's work. And then when he tells him, what if I didn't destroy the suit? Why would you not destroy the suit?
I explicitly told you.
Silly told you. I still like
Michael Douglas puts in a good performance in these movies. Just like Anthony Hopkins in the Thor movies, like he does the work. I just wish there were better movies for him.
Yeah.
Do we get young Michael Douglas in this one, do we?
No.
No, I thought we got a Janet. Maybe not.
No, wait, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, the
Oh,
first
that
scene.
brings up one of my questions.
Yeah.
That brings up a question I have. How is the quantum realm supposed to work? Because
You're asking a lot of me, Jake.
one would think that if you shrink down to the molecules, that you're moving in between the molecules, you're moving in between the molecules of the thing that you shrunk down between the molecules. So there, theoretically, Janet would get stuck in the missile, right?
Yeah,
You would
and be
think
there
that-
forever.
So then she would be in the bottom of the ocean or wherever it is, or however that worked.
I've never
'cause that's
in my life considered that
Because-
at all, of
because-
how she got to where she was.
Because that's kind of how it works, because he shrinks down in the building and then travels with the building, because he's still in the molecular structure of the building. So when he comes back, he's back in the building.
Or Scott in the first one is in the bedroom.
Yeah. Why is Janet able to be all the way over there?
They were trying to search for Janet in the quantum realm, right? Like ping her location?
So why were
But
they
why
still
would-
in the building if
Yeah.
they went to the bottom of the ocean?
I don't know.
It's a dumb
Quantum
question.
geography.
You can't just put quantum in front of everything.
Maybe it's like an end game where when they go into the little quantum thing, it not only transfers them in time, but they also can go to New York, Vormir. Maybe they are able to pinpoint where they're going.
I'm going to give Endgame a little bit more of a pass on
You mean
it.
because they had the little bracelets that allowed them to do those things?
No, because so much of that movie is just so much better than this one.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I never thought about it that way.
I thought about that
I've-
as I was watching. I was like, wait a second, how does this work?
It just does. Comic book.
I mean, I'm willing to accept that. It's just kind of dumb.
It's not kind of dumb. It's real dumb.
For a movie that sets it up like it's some kind of serious science that they're supposed to be talking about.
It's like a TARDIS. It's a time and space machine.
It's fair. Ohio is an evil TARDIS.
Except it's not fair because technically she wasn't in a time or space machine. She just got real small in that missile. She didn't go into a machine.
I'm still thinking about Hank Pym in the first movie saying he can't use the suit anymore because of what it's done to him. But the
Then
suit,
uses
the
the
suit,
suit.
the suit is using quantum whatever to shrink yourself. And then this one, he goes full blown into the quantum realm. Makes sense to get his wife, but it's like, wouldn't that take its toll on him?
Yeah.
I mean, he
I
was
think
doing.
that was the idea with the.
Well, he's grandpa clenching for half a going.
Well, also the kind of like horror-ish scene that we get, where he's walking through his halls and
Yeah.
where it's like tearing him. Like that's one of the things where I was like, do you really need that? Like, that's just another level of this that adds to something that already has too many levels.
Yep. And you were saying about his chemistry with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh yeah, they have more chemistry in the 2-minute scene where they reunite than Scott Lang and what's her face
Hope.
elf girl Hope have in an entire franchise.
I think the most chemistry they have is the one little silent hug they have in Endgame when they see each other after the building's been bombed. I don't think they say anything in that scene, but they hug, and it's like, yeah, that's more believable than everything else.
Well, I think it was so bad in the first one that they got told to tone it back for this one, which is why I think they broke them up.
It doesn't help
Which
that
is
they-
another dumb
Here
thing.
we go. I was
But
waiting
it
for it.
doesn't help that they're always starting at a place of mad at each other or broken up.
This is so stupid. It's such a bad reason to be mad at each other. If it's more than that, that's fine. Then why aren't we told that it's more than that?
It's not.
What you were saying though, like the whole the rift between Scott and the other two at the start of the
Yeah,
movie.
it's dumb.
It's-
It's dumb, and it's easily fixable with, I knew I was going to go somewhere I wasn't going to come back from, and I wasn't going to sacrifice you guys like that. Mm-hmm. You can be mad at me all you want for that, but I wasn't going to sacrifice you guys like that.
And their reasoning for being mad could have been that was reckless, and our tech could have gotten in the hands of anybody, especially because he doesn't like Stark.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point. But they don't ever talk about it. It's just kind of like, well, you went off with Cap to Germany. Oh, you were in Germany. Oh, yeah, I remember Germany. It's like you keep telling us about it, but you don't talk about it.
I do like the scene where they're in the first scene where they're in the shrunken car, and he goes, well, Cap needed me. Cap, 10. Captain America. Paul Rudd is funny in this movie.
Yeah, his performance is great in all 3 movies. I just, again, wish there was a better movie for him to be in.
Fair point.
Because he really excels in the other ones that he appears in. Like, he's really good in Civil War, in the little bit that we get to him.
I was going to say, even in Civil War, like, it doesn't look like he had much of a choice in coming there because they opened the van and he's just laying there with a coffee or whatever.
He's sleeping.
Yeah.
Open the door and
Hawkeye kind of has to nudge him awake.
Yeah, we talked about that for the Civil War episode of how he spends that whole first movie trying to stay out of trouble for the sake of his daughter. And then this one, we did say, well, he kind of got called by the not Avengers to help. It's like, I know, but I feel like he'd put his daughter before that. Now, if it was like saving the world, that might be one thing, but instead it's, there's fighting in the family.
Especially if you're getting recruited by Falcon. He's like a C-tier Avenger at the time.
In this movie, he does put his daughter before whatever's happening.
Yeah, he does.
That's another scene I like. I like the
upstairs scene when he comes back.
No, the phone call scene, the 911 scene.
I like pretty much anything with Cassie in it. I think the actress that played her in these first 2 movies is so good.
Yeah. Again, it's a Paul Rudd scene.
Mm-hmm.
No one else has any value in any of it, but
yeah. But David, how do you say it? Desmalchin gets to yell Baba Yaga 2 times.
He's so good in everything.
Yeah. T.I. is great in that. Again, those 3 are fun. Michael Pena, every time he shows up, he's just this goofy guy.
Needed more of him.
There was a lot of him in this. Because he's like always showing up.
Solo movie though.
I know. Because it's like,
where
I told
his suit.
How'd they know where I was? How'd they know where we were? Oh, I told Louise. And then like when they need backup, he pulls up, hey, and they're all mad at him, and it's like,
I also love giving him the truth serum. Like, you don't want to do that.
And he just keeps talking.
Yeah, he'll just keep going.
There's no such thing as truth serum. This movie does have funny moments.
It does. It's just a little too much.
Yeah.
It's way too cluttered for a second Ant-Man movie.
Taking place between the 2 biggest movies.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, but I think the next movie handled being in that spot a lot better than this one did.
Yeah, origin story
Helping
and setting up
it
a character.
30 years past themselves, yeah.
I was going to say, it is somewhat different because it takes place so far removed.
It's smart to distance it. And like they distance themselves in this one a little bit by making it pre the movie that just came before it. I guess it would be pre or it would be during the events of that movie. Because the dusting at the end, so they would be...
But it'd be pre because Infinity War takes place over like a couple days, right?
Yeah, how long does this take place over?
But I feel like if New York was attacked, they'd be hearing about it.
Maybe.
That would be a really clever thing if we went back through and like if there was anything about
like on TVs behind them or something.
Yeah. I just feel like that'd be like the big news thing happening. So that's why I think it's like.
But also not much of Infinity War takes place in New York. Like
Infinity War is mostly
like 5 minutes and then they leave.
Like Wakanda's where most of the Infinity War stuff takes place on Earth at least.
Yeah, but we remember when they were in Scotland, they saw on the TVs that Tony Stark was missing and New York was attacked. It's like I feel like that'd be big news on the West Coast as well. So
I mean, even if it was before, during they were still working on this quantum van and used it.
That's right.
Also, do people know Ant-Man's identity in this?
I don't think so.
Or do they even? Because like they're taking video of him, like they don't know who he is. Almost.
I feel like
I'm picking this apart for no reason.
I feel like they would because of everything that happened in Civil War.
How much of that you think was publicized, though?
Quite a bit. I think it's referenced other times in the MCU a couple times. Not many, but.
It's just,
Yeah, I was like, what is that?
I would. Didn't they try to do this? I would love a movie or a show about all of this from a civilian perspective.
They tried.
Was that Marvel Tide?
I can't remember if it was. No, it was.
That had Danny Pudi in it, right?
It was DC.
Okay.
Because they worked for Wayne Enterprises in their like R&D thing. And I want to say Vanessa Hudgens played like a relative of Bruce Wayne or a relative of somebody famous. But that was a decent one. They did try to do a Marvel one that was going to tie more into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I think that one never got off the ground.
I would like that in a similar vein that I would like to see how it affected. You could probably do it in the same show, movie thing.
Yeah, we've gotten like little glimpses here and there of like in Hawkeye. Yeah, Hawkeye, when we see Kate Bishop and how her relation to the attack on New York was, and a little bit in Miss Marvel when you get to see her like, oh, this happened over here and like blah blah blah. Like you get a little bit of it, but it would be nice to see more of the perspective of the person on the ground when these big disasters and things are happening.
Yeah. Again, it is really a filler movie. It's just kind of in between, and it made them money.
Do I like this one the best because it's the only one without Corey Stoll in it?
That's actually a fair.
Because I really hate Darren Cross.
Oh yeah.
I really don't mind his MODOK as much as I thought I would. The CG's bad on it.
Yeah.
But I don't mind what they do with the character because MODOK's kind of a dumb, bad character, anyways.
Sad we didn't get to see. There's no room for him, but Hugglepuss Bobby Cannavale, because first movie he's gruff cop, and then this one he's just all hugs.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's nice. We don't need more of him, but it's a preference thing of kind of want to see more of that because now they're like a family unit.
Yeah, and he's always nice to see in things. He also another one of those actors who plays the same character a lot.
Yep,
he plays it so well, kind of like Chris O'Dowd. Like for a long time, he was just playing himself
Yep.
in a lot of movies.
And they have the nice, you can't just come in here. Yes, they can. You need a warrant. No, they don't. It's like, that makes sense. He'd know the legal stuff. It's just funny.
Wow, how did the show last 13 episodes?
What show?
The Powerless show, the one you were just talking about.
NBC will air anything.
My God, it even looks like it looks bad.
Yeah. Does that have like Alan Tudyk in it as well? I think it has like way too good of a cast.
It has Vanessa Hudgens, Danny Pudi, Christina Kirk, Alan Tudyk, Ron Funches.
Yep, great. Bunches
Jenny
of Funches.
Pearson, a Deanna Rousseau, which might be related to the Rousseaus in some capacity. Adam West apparently is in it for 2 episodes.
Oh, I think he's the voice of Bruce Wayne when they call in. He calls into Wayne Tech.
It says Chairman Dean West.
Oh, maybe not. I've never seen the show. I'm just going
It
off
looks
of what I've heard
bad.
about it.
It looks real bad.
Because Marvel tried to do the same thing. Theirs was, I think theirs was going to be based on Damage Control, who we see in Homecoming, who comes and takes over for Vulture's cleanup. I think it was going to center around them and like their cleanup process around like real world spots and all the people and how they dealt with it. But I think they axed that along with like the Mockingbird show and things like that.
Yeah, probably makes sense. Anything interesting they do or they have a chance to do, they're like, nah, man, we don't need to do that. You don't want to see it. Doesn't have enough explosions.
Poor Adrian Padalecki just keeps trying to be in these superhero things and they keep getting canceled. I think she was Wonder Woman at one point. She had the Mockingbird thing. I think she had another DC thing. She got like one full episode. The pilot's out there. It's real bad.
I'm thinking of the wrong person. I'm thinking of Elsa Pataki.
From Hey Arnold.
That's Helga.
Helga. No, who's Elsa Pataki?
Is it Elsa? Who's Chris Hemsworth married to?
That might be her name.
Chris Hemsworth wife, because is it Elsa Pataki? Yeah,
Okay.
because she's in a lot of stuff, but I know her from she's in the Fast and Furious franchise in a couple
How
movies.
do you spell?
Is she the one that starts in 5?
I think so. She's in Brazil working with
Yeah.
The Rock. Yeah, that character.
I didn't realize that was her.
I think that's her.
I think you're right.
I think that's her. Fast Five, because Fast Five is my favorite one, which a lot of people, that's their favorite one.
Mine's Tokyo Drift.
Which is another one that's a lot of people's favorite.
Yeah,
one.
like a lot of people hate Tokyo Drift, but then there's also like that real diehard like we love
It's the
Tokyo
worst
Drift.
one, but it's so much fun.
That's why I like it, because it's so of its era, and it's a what's a prequel when it takes place far ahead of the movies coming ahead of it? Because it's
prequel.
But it comes before. Oh wait, is that a prequel?
The
movie comes out first, and then the movies following take place beforehand.
A prequel, I think, mostly just means that it takes place. The events takes place before something, but they usually come out after it. Kind of how like Temple of Doom is a prequel.
But this one's the opposite. This one takes place after all the ones and comes before. Because
it's a prequel to some.
Because 4, 5, 6, and 7 technically take place before Tokyo Drift, where they have flip phones and stuff.
Yeah, I totally phased out and don't know what you're talking about, and then tune back in on Tokyo Drift. Let's do it.
We've been talking about Tokyo Drift for a while.
Okay, so Fast and Furious, first 2 movies happen. Then the 4th movie, the 5th movie, and the 6th movie all happen before 3, and then the 7th movie in the middle runs into one part, like the end of Tokyo Drift. So like they catch up to the timeline where Tokyo Drift is.
And I was trying to figure out what Tokyo Drift would be called, because it's not a prequel; it's the opposite of a prequel.
It comes before the movies after it, but before a movie that's after those.
Is it a pre-sequel?
Pre-sequel.
It's a sequel to all those movies, but it comes out before them. So is it a pre-sequel?
Sprequel.
Sprequel?
Sprequel.
Wait, I think that's what prequel just means. I think they just combine the words. I'm thinking. Yeah, that's not how it is.
No, it's so wild. They're like, oh yeah, this is in the future.
Yeah, you're like, it's
why
a prequel.
did they have
no,
flip
Jared, it's the opposite of a prequel. What does that mean?
Why does Bama Boy look like 10 years older in this shot? He wasn't that old in that
got
movie.
Like flip phones, and it's so bad. I think they have like the ones that flip out to the side.
Good old Bama Boy. That was his email. What do you call those? The actual like email name.
Oh, screen name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On his computer is like Bama Boy 85 or something. In the opening scene, right before he races Brad from Home Improvement, who always plays the jerk.
I was about to say Zachary Ty Bryan's in that movie, playing the same character, looking way older than he should.
Yeah. But yeah, you said Adrian Padalecki? Related to Jared Padalecki?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because I thought that was maybe his wife.
I always thought, no, he's married to somebody else from Supernatural.
It's, Genevieve Nicole Cortese.
Sure.
She plays Ruby.
Yeah, I would say she plays Ruby in Supernatural. That's all I remember.
Gotcha. But you said that, I'm like, Elsa Pataki. Oh no.
And then I thought Olga Pataki.
How do you
Helga, that's right.
Olga's her brother.
Adrian.
Actually, that works. You mentioning Olga instead of Helga, because that's always the joke, is Helga gets forgotten. It's a really sad
I need to rewatch Hey Arnold.
Yeah. Really good.
I still haven't watched the movie.
Either one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've not seen the theatrical one, but I have seen the Jungle movie, which ends it, and it's a really
I hear it's a really good follow-up to it.
It's good.
I heard, was it that, and what was the other one that people were like, it was really good around that time? Invader Zim. They were like, the remake of Invader Zim was really good.
That's what I hear. I'm not a giant Invader Zim fan.
Me neither. But it was always around, so I'd be kind of interested to see what it was.
Was it Invader Zim or Rocco's?
It was Rocco's.
That's
what it was.
Which I hear great things about that.
Yeah.
It's like a reboot special, right? Which
that's the way
to do it.
Wait, there was a Rocco reboot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a special. It was like a 2-part special.
Yeah, it came out around the same time as like the Hey Arnold one,
like
the few other
2017 or 18.
Wow, how did I miss that?
Because it, again, instead of drawing it out like a reboot for a full series or movies work too, but when you do like a little special, just say, hey, here's a little fun adventure for now. It's like, that's fun.
Okay, that's really cool. You said Hey Arnold, so I looked up the Hey Arnold complete series on Amazon. Loungefly makes a backpack that is it's the apartment building. That looks cool.
The boarding house.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I love Loungefly bags. They're so cool. They're expensive.
Oh yeah.
But they're well made. So you get quality out of it.
That's pretty cool. And it's even funnier because Arnold's not even on it. It's got Grandpa, Grandma, the pig, the fat kid, Harold,
Praise Thor, the Thunder
Stoop
God.
Kid's my favorite.
What's his?
Stoop Kid.
It does not have Stoop Kid.
Or what is it? Lenny, the tall one?
No, he's got
Stinky.
the top.
Stinky, that's right.
Stinky, and then the kid with glasses in the garbage.
The kid with glasses. Curly?
No.
Who else has glasses? Eugene doesn't have glasses.
No, Eugene has the red hair.
One of the kids?
Yeah.
Okay. I know it also is... Oh.
Oh, it's
What I was trying to avoid.
It's the kid.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
And then, what is his best friend's name?
Gerald.
Gerald. It does not have Arnold and Helga. It does not have Arnold in the front.
Brainy. Brainy's the one, which is voiced by Craig Bartlett. Who
That
created
is
the show.
That is honestly a bold choice to make a Hey Arnold backpack without Hey Arnold on the front of. Oh, you can open the door and he's there. That's
I was going to
sick.
say, he's probably inside of it, because those launch lid bags are intricate.
You can open the door and it's a luggage tag, and that is sick, dude.
Jake's like, add to cart. What is
Too
it,
bad
like
I don't wanna pay
$135?
$80 for
Okay.
$80.
I don't want to pay $80 for a Loungefly because they're not even big backpacks. They're like
No, they're
this.
compact ones. That's even big for what a Loungefly usually is.
So how long has it been since we talked about Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Probably since you paid for that backpack just now off camera.
He's
I
not
mean-
denying it.
Yeah, there's not much else to say. Could be better, but it's like I'm not heartbroken that it isn't. It's just kind of there.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It's the best Ant-Man.
it is.
That's sad.
Yes,
Not
it
a-
is.
Generally high bar there.
I'm upset too because the mid-credit scene we already talked about, the end credit scene starts interesting and then it's just a joke.
Which one's the end again?
Because the end credit scene is like it cuts to Scott's empty apartment with the warning
yeah.
on the TV from we assume from the blip, and like there's no one anywhere. It cuts to another shot, and I love when movies and shows, just media does that, where it's like places that are usually inhabited are empty, and I'm like, this is really cool. But then like we cut to the ant is still playing the drums.
Yep.
After the blip, it's like it's a funny little joke, but man, I kind of like this part.
It is
'cause
nice
it's-
to know that the ant didn't get blipped.
Yeah, well, it's just
That's the
humans,
other
right?
thing I wonder.
Or it's life.
Yeah, 50% of life.
Gotcha. Well, good for him. Just
Yeah.
not playing with sticks,
So,
playing with his little
If
leg.
50% of animal life and plant life, because plant life is
I was about
life,
to say, plant life, does that not
Not according-
indeed
not
have
according
our
to what we-
resources?
What about battery life? Everyone's phones went to half.
I hate you.
I like
Lifesavers. Did everyone all the lifesaver candies?
I
just
genuinely
disappear?
hate you.
Does the college route and the game life get taken out? Because half of it gets removed.
Half the board's gone.
Oh, it just gets cut in half? You just
Yeah,
can't finish
life cereal starts disappearing.
That reminds
Poor
me.
Mikey.
College Football 25 came out
Yeah, well, yeah, a bit ago. At this point, a while ago.
a couple weeks.
Something
yeah,
like that.
at the point we air this.
I don't
Yeah.
know what we were talking about reminded him about college
You
football.
said college life.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At this
Reminded
point,
me.
yeah, like 2 months at this point when this comes out.
I need to buy that.
Is that life water right there?
It is.
Your bottle? Half of that's gone too.
Technically, I did already drink one of the bottles.
Back to the legitimate conversation.
Boo on the Ant-Man movies. All of them boo.
Just whole swaths of the Amazon rainforest just gone.
Yeah.
That there's not much to get rid of, unfortunately.
At that point, there might have still been.
Maybe. But not great. Yeah.
Womp womp.
Wah, wah, wah. That does make me question something. If half of life gets blipped out, doesn't that leave the same issue because there's the same ratio of people to food? Mm-hmm. Huh. It's like the more you pick apart this, the less sense it makes.
Especially when you could have doubled resources. Instead of having the people. Or just make it so we require less resources to survive.
Or just don't do it in general.
No, you want to fix some things. Use a less drastic way.
Fair.
I also miss when we called it being dusted.
Yeah.
Until they labeled it.
It was Spider-Man, right? They called it the blip.
Yep. In the opening scene, yep.
I always
I
thought
think
that
all
was a
of us-
dumb name.
The blip? I thought it was just going to be all, like, that's what they called it in that school. But no, it stuck.
I mean, I understand why they can't call it the snap because not everybody saw him snap.
The snap
but
heard round world? Well, at least by half of them.
They could have called it the happening.
The snap.
That is my favorite M. Night movie.
Let's talk over here for a second.
What do you mean? No.
It's the wind, my guy.
What? No. Couldn't be. I hate Mark Wahlberg. That movie made me hate Zooey Deschanel, and I loved Zooey Deschanel.
That's the movie that made you hate Zooey Deschanel?
Yeah. It's the only bad thing that she's done.
I disagree, but okay.
No, she and him, and that is Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah.
So you hate she and him in that movie?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
But Ward's not in that movie.
No, but him referring to Mark Wahlberg.
Is M. Ward Mark Wahlberg? Have you ever seen them in the same spot at the same time?
I've never seen
No.
one of them at all, like in person. So
I have.
Which one?
I don't know. He had a broken arm at the time, so I don't know which one that was. I think it was Mark Wahlberg because he was kind of a jerk.
Was he eating a Wahlburger?
Wasn't
No.
there a Wahlburger near us?
Yeah, it was
once upon a
downtown, then it got
time?
closed down.
Oh yeah.
Was it because Wahlberg is a jerk?
I think
And a
that's
bigot, as far as I know.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
I
that's
mean,
a
actually,
whole-
not as far as I know. I mean, convicted, whatever.
I think that's a whole podcast series in itself.
Oh, I would love to talk about celebrities and why they're garbage human beings, like murderer Matthew Broderick. We give Christopher Walken too much of a skate on that boat incident. Natalie Wood.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I could go for hours on that stuff.
I don't have anything else to say. Does anybody have anything
Did
else?
Michael Douglas do some stuff that we shouldn't be proud of?
Well, he got the mouth stuff from. Nah, well, Jake, is there anything else?
We better end this here before we spiral further. I think it's been a good half an hour since we actually talked about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Does anyone else have anything else
That's
to
about
say?
I had to check into the movie every half hour and then zone out.
Before we get to our socials, we have to engage in everybody's second favorite
Mine came first.
segment.
Why is it second favorite? That's so sad.
Just because it comes second. Have you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet? I noticed that my Disney Plus stopped recommending it to me.
Because it stopped mattering to the MCU.
I hate to think that Disney Plus is that smart.
Oh, it is.
But have you?
That's why. No, I have not.
Okay.
But that's why the Inhumans was hidden on Disney Plus. You had to search for it, and even then, like, it wouldn't always pull up. You'd have to type the entire name for it to pop up when it first put on there.
Inhumans. Is that a TV show or a movie?
It was a TV show that they showed the first 2 episodes in IMAX. That was one of
That's
the worst
right.
things that
And it-
Disney's ever done.
Does it have Starfire in it?
No, that's DC.
That's
It
DC.
has Medusa,
Oh.
whose power comes from her hair, and the first thing they do in the show is cut off her hair. Right, she's shaved bald. Yeah.
I was confusing Inhumans with New Mutants.
I could see that. That's also not Starfire. That's Magic.
Oh, no, I know. I know it's not Starfire. I was just...
Can we cover New Mutants in this podcast? I love that movie.
No.
There's 2 bears living inside of us, Jared. One's a big ghost bear.
So we're going to talk about Cocaine Bear as a part of the MCU?
It's better than this movie. At least it had Ray Liotta in it.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, big rippers there.
All right, Jared. We're going to continue this maybe next week. Until then, if you want to check us out, where can they find us, Jared?
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and X.
Formerly known as Twitter.
You can listen to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our bell, check us out, rate us, whatnot on all those apps, and check out our groovy website.
And if you want to join us as we keep trudging on through, come back next. What is it, Thursday or Tuesday that we Tuesday that we post this. Get back and check us out next Tuesday as we keep getting more and more phased.
What are we watching?
Oh, shoot! I even forgot. We're watching one of my more favorite ones, Captain Marvel. The title proves true. Yeah, we're watching Captain Marvel. Check that out and come back as we get more and more phased out.
Ants. Check inputs.
Check.
We haven't watched them all yet.
I don't know why I did that.
I'll be like, Iron Man 3 is better than 1.
That's not true at all.
Sure it is. You got Harley in that movie. I was reminded of that at the end of Endgame. Now we are.
I'm sorry.
That tastes like you put a shot of vodka in my coffee.
You got this water drinking flex. Now I am, and then you hurt yourself with a water bottle. With a
water bottle, the lamest thing to hurt yourself with.
All right.
Oh, that was a deep one.
Oh. Breathe in. Breathe out.
You forgot to hold.
Talking about Hey Arnold backpacks.
Although I'd probably buy this not Funko Pop thing here.